belong to Ahmadiyya, a sect who say they are Muslims, but who believe their founder was the final prophet rather than Muhammad. It's a belief that's deeply offensive to the vast majority of Indonesia's 209 million Muslims. But this amateur video showing the crowd stripping 3 Ahmadiyya men naked, stoning and beating them to death has shocked the nation. It is too gruesome to show here. The number of attacks against religious minorities in Indonesia has surged in the last year. As a result, Ahmadiyya followers in Lombok are to be forcibly moved to this almost deserted island nearby, a move the provincial government say is for their own safety. For Kai Rudin, it's the first time he's seen his potential new home.
Menurut saya terutama bagus lah.
I think the island looks comfortable.
Bagus, nyaman juga udara.
The air is fresh and I don't mind living here as long as facilities such as electricity and school is provided and safety as well. I'm excited.
Every moment is recorded for 200 SEC members back home. The island's sole resident, whose job is to guard the palm trees, tells them on camera he's not happy with Ahmadiyya moving here. But these men have no home. In 2006, they were forced to abandon this village in Lombok when a neighbouring community forced them out. When some Ahmadiyya members tried to return late last year, their houses were looted. The movement's regional head says such incidents are rarely investigated.
Authorities haven't arrested any perpetrators of the attacks, and they don't actively try to solve the case. We had to report to the police station directly to get them to pursue the case. This shows authorities' lack of support and commitment to enforce the law.
Mungkinkah kau masih mengharapkanku?
22 Ahmadiyya families now live in this shelter in Lombok's capital, Mataram. Young and old crammed together in fetid makeshift tents. Kai Rudin says many here have been denied citizenship cards, which makes it hard for some children in the shelter to access Indonesia's education and health services.
To be honest, we don't like living here, but since this is a matter of defending our faith and beliefs, then we have to accept the conditions. We are forced to accept it.
The district head acknowledges his idea to move Ahmadiyya followers onto an island 60 kilometres away from Lombok is contentious, but says it's in their best interests.
Kita tidak memberikan solusi menyangkut juga hak asasi.
Perhaps the relocation solution could be seen as a violation of human rights, but for the local government it's a good solution. Why they're being isolated is because characteristically they're keen on an exclusive system of society.
Harmony is a selling point for an island trying to be a tourist mecca like neighbouring Bali. Zaini Roni says Ahmadiyya's exclusive and elitist approach to their faith triggers suspicion amongst mainstream Muslims.
It's affecting human beings in a harmful way. I do hope the central government would give a firm policy on a national level whether Ahmadiyya is allowed in Indonesia, because the ones who are directly facing the issues are the villagers and local government. This is the problem.
The Indonesian government's Religious Affairs Ministry issued a decree in 2008 banning Ahmadiyya from publicly practicing and spreading their faith. They're reviewing the ban, but Bahrul Hayat, the Religious Affairs Ministry's Secretary-General, has serious misgivings on the Ahmadiyya's exclusivity and says restrictions on marriage trigger social problems.
They have to be more open. There are some restrictions that given by Ahmadiyyas to other Muslim followers, like the use of masjid. All masjid in Indonesia is open for only Muslims. But the marriage system is a restriction for only Ahmadis. Ahmadis women only want to be married by Ahmadis men. So this is some problem in terms of social interaction.
500,000 Ahmadiyya followers worship across Indonesia. Their detractors say they could have full religious freedom if they concede they are not true Muslims. But Indonesia's Ahmadiyya leaders maintain they are.
Juga kami mengatakan bahwa kami melaksanakan rukun Islam
The
yang
basic
kelima dan,
essence of Islamic
rukun iman
conversion
yang keenam.
vows. We practice it in other Islamic teachings.
Seperti sabda
We pray
Rasulullah
facing the
SAW,
Kaaba. We fast during Ramadan.
Sholatlah kamu sebagaimana kamu lihat aku sholat.
Ahmadiyya's leadership meet once a month in the safety of a compound. Their spokesman says Indonesia should be more open-minded.
Ketika kami berpemahaman seperti dan ada
What we regret is our different interpretations should be talked through a dialogue. It's certainly not going to be resolved by physical attacks.
benak dengan benak yang berbicara.
One of Indonesia's most prominent lawyers, Adnan Boyong Nasution, wants to take on Ahmadiyya's case. But that means also taking on Indonesia's mainstream Muslim bodies, who denounce them as heretical.
I doubt that they really dare to make a case against those people. I understand why, because they're afraid they became more angry, more aggressive, because they were bigger than Ahmadiyya. It's a very small group.
Indonesia's constitution guarantees freedom of religion in a nation where more than 85% of the population are Muslim. However, a blasphemy law currently enacted only recognises 6 official religions and imposes a 5-year jail term for any follower who strays away from their central tenets. There's another law that prevents minorities from building houses of worship without the support of 90 people. A minority of Indonesian hardliners have used the law to protest the building of churches and synagogues. Earlier in the year, violent attacks closed some 20 Christian churches, forcing at least one congregation to worship in the streets. The laws are also being used to justify attacks on religious minorities like Ahmadiyya. This amateur footage taken in 2008 near Riau in Sumatra shows an Ahmadiyya mosque being targeted by a local mob. High in West Java's hinterland, larger Ahmadiyya strongholds have also been under attack. Scorched floors and burnt Korans remind the village head Mubarak Ahmed of last September's attack on the mosque, madrasa and surrounding houses.
They didn't only throw stones, but also Molotov cocktails, causing the mosque to burn. The carpet was burned. The young people tried to put out the fire and mistakenly thought to fight back. Then the attackers ran away and one person got stabbed.
The community are rebuilding the mosque, but they are adamant it will happen again because tension remains high.
We find that some authorities are not neutral. They seem to be defending the other party.